Welcome to our channel. Today we will delve into the judgment criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD as outlined in the DSM-5. This video is intended for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional diagnosis or treatment. PTSD is a complex mental health condition that can develop after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. To receive a diagnosis, certain criteria must be met, as outlined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, DSM-5. Throughout this video, we will explore each criterion in detail, providing you with a comprehensive understanding of PTSD. The first criterion for diagnosing PTSD is exposure to a traumatic event. Trauma is a psychologically overwhelming experience that disrupts a person's sense of safety and well-being. The DSM-5 outlines 4 distinct ways an individual might experience this kind of trauma. The first is direct exposure, such as a physical assault, a severe car accident, or a natural disaster. The second way is witnessing a traumatic event unfold, like seeing violence or a horrific accident. The third way is learning about a traumatic event that happened to a close friend or family member. This could involve hearing about a sudden death or serious accident. The fourth way involves repeated or extreme exposure to aversive details of traumatic events, relevant for first responders, police officers, and medical professionals. For example, a police officer who routinely arrives at crime scenes or a therapist who listens to stories of abuse. The cumulative effect of these experiences can be incredibly damaging. It's important to note that not everyone who experiences trauma develops PTSD. Many factors influence whether or not someone will develop the disorder, including individual resilience, genetics, and the availability of social support. Understanding the different ways we can be exposed to trauma is crucial in identifying those who may be at risk. Recognizing these exposures helps in early intervention and support. Early support can make a significant difference in outcomes. The next criterion involves the presence of intrusion symptoms. These are unwanted and distressing reminders of the trauma that pop up in daily life. The most common intrusion symptom is intrusive memories. These are vivid, unwanted memories of the trauma that intrude into thoughts. Another common symptom is nightmares, where the trauma is relived in terrifying detail. These nightmares can disrupt sleep patterns and leave the individual feeling exhausted. Dissociative reactions, such as flashbacks, are more extreme forms of intrusion. During a flashback, the individual loses touch with their current surroundings. Intrusive symptoms also include intense psychological distress at exposure to cues that symbolize the trauma. For example, a war veteran might experience anxiety when hearing a car backfire, or a survivor of a car accident might panic at the intersection where the accident occurred. These cues act as triggers, eliciting intense fear or anxiety. Physiological reactions to these cues are also common, like a racing heart or sweating. These physical reactions are the body's way of responding to the perceived threat. These intrusive symptoms are incredibly distressing and disruptive to a person's life. Imagine trying to go about your day when you are constantly bombarded by unwanted memories and flashbacks. The third criterion focuses on avoidance behaviors. Avoidance is a coping mechanism to protect from overwhelming distress. One common form is avoiding memories, thoughts, or feelings associated with the trauma. The individual may try to push away painful memories or suppress thoughts about the event. Another common avoidance behavior is avoiding external reminders of the trauma. This can include places, people, activities, or objects that remind the individual of the traumatic event. For example, someone who survived a car accident might avoid driving. A veteran might avoid crowds or loud noises that remind them of combat. This avoidance can significantly impact a person's life, leading to social isolation. Avoidance doesn't make the pain go away. It can often make it worse. By avoiding reminders, the individual never gets the opportunity to process the event. The trauma remains a raw, unhealed wound. The fourth criterion centers around the impact trauma can have on thoughts and feelings. Trauma can shatter core beliefs about oneself, the world, and other people. One hallmark symptom is negative thoughts and beliefs about oneself, others, or the world. This can manifest as persistent negative beliefs about oneself, such as feeling worthless. It can also involve distorted thoughts about others, such as believing that everyone is dangerous. Another cognitive change is persistent distorted thinking about the cause or consequences of the traumatic event. This may lead the individual to blame themselves or others. Trauma can also lead to persistent negative emotional states, such as fear, anger, or guilt. These emotions can be incredibly intense and overwhelming. Individuals with PTSD often experience diminished interest in significant activities. Things they once enjoyed might lose their appeal. Feelings of detachment or estrangement from others are also common. Trauma can make it difficult to connect with others or feel a sense of belonging. The individual might isolate themselves or avoid forming new relationships. This social isolation can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and depression. One of the most heartbreaking symptoms is the inability to experience positive emotions. Trauma can dampen the ability to feel joy. It's like a part of them has shut down. The fifth criterion examines changes in arousal and reactivity. Imagine living in a state of constant alertness. One common symptom is irritability or outbursts of anger. This heightened irritability can stem from a constant state of hypervigilance. Reckless or self-destructive behavior is another way this altered arousal can manifest. This might involve engaging in risky activities, such as substance abuse or reckless driving. Hypervigilance means being in a constant state of alertness. Individuals with hypervigilance might be easily startled or have trouble sleeping. An exaggerated startle response is also common. This can involve jumping at loud noises or flinching at sudden movements. Problems with concentration can also arise from this heightened state of arousal. The constant state of hypervigilance can make it difficult to focus on tasks. Sleep disturbances are extremely common in individuals with PTSD. This can manifest as difficulty falling asleep or experiencing nightmares. The fear of experiencing nightmares can make it nearly impossible to get restful sleep. Chronic sleep deprivation can exacerbate other PTSD symptoms. The sixth criterion is the persistence of symptoms. Symptoms must be present for more than 1 month. This helps distinguish PTSD from other stress-related disorders. PTSD is not something people simply get over quickly. The impact of trauma can be long-lasting. Symptoms can persist for months, years, or even decades if left untreated. The seventh criterion emphasizes the impact on a person's life. Symptoms must cause significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other areas of functioning. PTSD profoundly disrupts a person's ability to live a full life. The impact on social functioning can be devastating. The individual might isolate themselves or struggle to maintain relationships. Occupationally, PTSD can lead to decreased productivity and job loss. Beyond social and occupational functioning, PTSD can affect various aspects of life. The constant state of hypervigilance and fear can make it difficult to relax. The eighth criterion ensures symptoms are due to trauma, not other factors. Substance use can mimic or exacerbate PTSD symptoms. Individuals might turn to substances to cope with emotional pain. Certain medical conditions can produce symptoms that resemble PTSD. It's essential to rule out these medical factors. A comprehensive assessment by a qualified mental health professional is crucial. Recognizing and addressing co-occurring conditions is essential for effective treatment. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. If you or someone you know is struggling with PTSD, please seek professional help. Remember, mental health is just as important as physical health. There is no shame in seeking support, and effective treatments are available. With the right help, individuals with PTSD can learn to manage their symptoms, process the trauma, and reclaim their lives.